Whittier police officer Keith Boyer was shot and killed today after responding to a call for a simple traffic collision.
Some might consider the atmosphere of Eugene, Oregon to be pretty liberal, the last place on earth that Donald Trump would want to be, but he has proven that he is clearly not afraid of conflict, and neither are his supporters.
With the recent closure of the Holly Ridge Trail, this is one of the few remaining easy viewpoints for the iconic Hollywood sign, unless you're willing to go the hard way. Over 1,000 devoted Catholics gathered here tonight at Our Lady of the Angels Cathedral in celebration of Holy Thursday.
There were over 5,000 jobs lost this past month, the largest loss in a single month over the last 6 years, and Oregon economists are struggling to find answers to what might have caused this unusual downturn.
The California State Senate approved Governor Jerry Brown's $52 billion plan to fix the state's roads by an increase in gas taxes. A fire broke out here tonight at Griffith Park, engulfing more than a quarter of an acre of land, but we just spoke to fire officials and they assured us the fire is now under control.
They marched, they protested, and now they've completed the most crucial part of this process. Black students met this past Thursday night to compile a list of demands they have for UO administration regarding diversity and inclusion on campus.
Now you can see Beauty and the Beast beginning in theaters March 17th. In Hollywood, Spencer Hurbis, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
The big one is coming. The time to prepare is now. Buying these water jugs from the Eugene Water and Electric Board is just one of the ways you can get ready. But what else is EWEB doing to prepare the city of Eugene for this impending disaster?
The Rooftop Cinema Club opened its doors tonight to hundreds of excited moviegoers for the first movie of the season, the 35th anniversary edition of E.T.
Take a look around. It's rainy, it's windy, and it's cold, and most of us have a place to go home tonight, but there are thousands in Lane County that are not as fortunate.
We're here at the premiere of The Promise, which tells the story of the Armenian genocide, and this film has seen enormous amounts of support from not just the Armenian community, but also big stars in Hollywood as well. LAPD is asking for the public's help in finding 2 suspects responsible for the robbery of 2 homes in Los Feliz. The cleanup is expected to be completed in about 3 weeks. In Eugene, Spencer Hurbis, KAZI 9 News. This spot marks the beginning of a 5-mile route that bicyclists will ride in complete silence to honor those injured or killed while riding public roadways. This is the worldwide event known as the Ride of Silence. Reporting from downtown Los Angeles, Spencer Hurbis, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Some might consider the atmosphere of Eugene, Oregon to be pretty liberal, the last place on earth that Donald Trump would want to be, but he has proven that he is clearly not afraid of conflict, and neither are his supporters. On Tuesday evening, volunteers and supporters of Trump's campaign met to watch the results of the Republican primary elections in Pennsylvania, Delaware, Connecticut, Maryland, and Rhode Island. Trump took all 5 states. The Lane County campaign office for Trump opened just 2 weeks ago in preparation for the Oregon primaries. Volunteers have been making phone calls to Lane County residents, hoping to sway their opinions and possibly get their votes. Carol Wyatt, a volunteer from Sutherland, Oregon, says she's been getting mixed responses to her phone calls.
I've had some be very rude. They're definitely not for Trump. One man told me, "Oh, I'm sorry for you." I said, "What?" He said, well, "I'm sorry you have to work for Trump. You need to get a job."
Many Trump supporters say they have faced even more criticism from people who strongly disagree with Trump's statements and his plans for the United States. But no matter how much scrutiny they face here in Eugene, they make it clear that their opinions will not change.
I get called a racist all the time. I don't care. Call me a racist, that's fine, I'm not a racist. Do you think I'm a racist because I want illegal immigrants out of my country? No. You want to come here? That's fine. Do your papers, do it right, and come in. If you got bad plans for the U.S., stay out.
Local campaign manager Diane Morrison-Wilson is organizing phone calls and door-to-door campaigning for Trump in the hope of reaching 25,000 Republicans in Lane County before the Oregon primary election. After Trump's sweep of the 5 Wednesdays primaries, his supporters say they are feeling confident about the Republican nomination and their version of a new and improved America led by Donald Trump.
My hope is maybe a non-politician can do what politicians haven't been able to do.
Trump is expected to visit Oregon sometime next week, but specific dates have yet to be announced. For Oregon News, I'm Spencer Hurbis. For many people, what happened in Roseburg was translated through press conferences, like the one at Riverbend Hospital in Springfield.
We have received 3 patients from Roseburg between the ages of 18 and 34, all women.
But what many don't know is the kind of preparation it took to bring those patients to the hospital. For the team of Life Flight helicopter that transported one of the women, there are years of preparation and training, and hours of standing by in case they are needed.
So this is our office, if you will. The patients, so their head is here, and then their feet go down here.
Karen Charlton, a nurse with Life Flight, says when her team gets a call, they will be airborne in minutes.
We'll be there about 16:01.
And when they get to a hospital landing pad, the patient will be loaded almost immediately. Charlton says on the day of the Umpqua Community College shooting, her team was on its way to Roseburg just minutes after a dispatcher called from the Life Flight Communications Center.
We were told it was a trauma, but we had no information about what was going on, and that's very standard for how we operated.
Aboard the aircraft that day was a standard Life Flight team, a nurse, paramedic, and pilot. Charlton says she was impressed by the professional performance of her team as they tried to care for a gravely wounded student.
It was a moment of, this is a really, really, really bad day for her. And this person was just going to school and wondering and imagining how scared she must have been as things were going on, and just wanting to make sure that we brought as much compassion and caring and comfort as we could.
Life Flight is based in Cottage Grove. Their life-saving helicopters are dispatched to hospitals in Eugene, Springfield, Portland, Cottage Grove, and some smaller cities along the coast. In its mission statement, Life Flight lists safety as their top priority. Their stated goal is to meet all the challenges that come with transporting critically ill patients by helicopter to hospitals.
So we're deliberate in our actions and very intentional to make sure that everybody stayed safe while we were helping them out.
And they did what they set out to do. All the women transported from UCC made it to the hospital on time. 2 of them have been discharged. Spencer Hurbis reporting for Oregon News. They marched, they protested, and now they've completed the most crucial part of this process. Black students met this past Thursday night to compile a list of demands they have for UO administration regarding diversity and inclusion on campus.
Oregon was just one of the many college campuses that stood in solidarity last week with the University of Missouri. Protesters met at the Ford Alumni Center and marched all the way to Johnson Hall, where they protested outside.
Attention to us because Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
The Black Women of Achievement invited all students who identify as Black to come together and help create a list of demands for the UO administration. One of the things they are asking for is more staff of color. Senior Patrick Kindred says the biggest issue is retention of Black administrators.
I feel like most of the times they're just kind of slapping that on pamphlets and saying, we just hired 2 administrators of color, but when we throw out the statistics, it's really no jump. It's still a 2% that just sits.
UO administration was unable to make a comment about the protest at this time, but President Schill made this statement regarding the recent events at the University of Missouri. Our university, both our students and our faculty, is not as diverse as we should be. This absence of diversity is exacerbated by a sense of isolation and despair among many of our students of color. We must work hard to enhance our diversity, and we must work equally hard to create a supportive, inclusive environment. The list of demands has not yet been released to the public, but we do know that President Schill is in contact with the leaders of the protest.
Democracy looks like this is what democracy looks like.
The Supreme Court is divided on a decision again. Yesterday, President Obama's immigration plan left a tie in the Supreme Court. The plan would stop the deportation of millions of illegal immigrants who are already in the United States. With the death of Justice Scalia just a little over 2 months ago, the Supreme Court has only 8 justices, and this is the second time they have been split equally on an issue. The first was a decision on fees that workers would have to pay if they did not join a union. A 7.8 magnitude earthquake shook the coast of Ecuador this weekend. Officials say that there are at least 413 people dead and over 2,500 injured. Aftershocks of up to a 5.6 magnitude are still being felt in the surrounding areas. Ecuador has deployed 10,000 soldiers and 4,600 police officers to the damaged areas. Military has also brought in search dogs to help find people buried by rubble.
Welcome to Oregon Extra, a piece produced by Oregon News. I'm Zach Bigley.
And I'm Spencer Hurbis. For this issue of Oregon Extra, we sent reporters out to find out what sort of changes are affecting track and field here in Eugene.
And we looked at the economic impact locally of the beer and wine industry.
We also took a look at a lab where UO researchers are working towards ending blindness using nanotechnology.
And we sat down with the president of the University of Oregon to figure out what kind of changes he's bringing here to campus.
To start off our show, we're going to take a look at the future of beer. Did you get your primary ballot in before 8 p.m. on May 17th? The primary precincts are in, and a total of 118,200 Lane County residents voted. Overall, Oregon saw 111,000 voters change their voter registration. Of that number, 84,400 of them registered as Democrats. Sanders won with 56% of the votes, while Trump won with 66.6%. California's primaries are up next, and they may easily decide who will move on as the Democratic nominee. Trump needs a mere 150 more delegate pledges to win the Republican nomination. Be sure to get your general election ballot in by November 8th, 2016. Local children who don't normally have the ability to move on their own got to do just that with a special program. Bailey Mulder has the story. Calling all Sweet Tooths, Sweet Life Patisserie plans to open a bakery closer to UO's campus. It will be on the corner of East 19th and Agate, next door to Prince Puckler's Gourmet Ice Cream Shop. That's all we have for you today. Thanks for joining us this morning on Oregon News. We'll see you back here tomorrow.